Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and welcome back to my channel, Stubbornly Bookish. Today I'm going to be coming to you with a rather quick video, and that is 5 authors I would like to read in 2020, almost said 2019. I liked listing authors instead of just one of their books because if I read any one of their books, I counted it as a success. Last year I was decently successful. I read from 4 out of the 5 authors. The only one I didn't read from was Sean David Hutchinson, which now makes sense. I only own one book from him. Still do really want to read it, but yeah, mostly successful. The way I did it last year was I talked about the author, maybe in general, or maybe a specific work of theirs, if I own more of one of their works, and I just talk about the one book that I want to read from them the most. So I think I'm going to stick with that for this year. So author number 5 on this list is none other than Neal Shusterman. Neal Shusterman has been writing for years. He is one of, I think, like the first proper YA authors. He's been writing dystopians since dystopians were really popular. He's known for like that Unwind series, and he's written stuff with his son. He is incredibly popular, and I've wanted to read a decent amount of his work for quite some time, and frankly it just feels like I'm missing out on like my YA education because I haven't read Neal Shusterman, who is notorious for writing dystopian. Now, I don't know how much I would love a 2012 YA dystopian now, but I definitely still want to read some of his work, and the work that comes to mind the most, which I think might be obvious for a lot of people, is Scythe. Scythe is also a dystopian series, but it's really well reviewed. It's set in this world where humanity has conquered death, and because of that, the only thing threatening humanity is overpopulation. So there are these people called scythes. Holy shit, the plural is difficult. But these scythes are responsible for like culling the Earth's population. I definitely want to get to this book in 2020. I have high hopes for it. Author number 4 on this list is Tahereh Mafi. She is also a young adult writer who also became popular for a young adult dystopian series that I'm pretty sure came out near 20. I do own the Shatter Me series, and I do plan on getting to it. It is not, however, the thing that I'm most interested in reading from her. She's got a young adult contemporary that sounds really good. I just really want to read from her because apparently she has a very great writing style, depending on who you ask. She's quite a polarizing writer. I think the thing I'm most excited to read from her, and definitely a book I want to read in 2020, is Furthermore by Tahereh Mafi, duh. But this is sort of an Alice in Wonderland inspired tale. There's a companion book with the most gorgeous cover I've ever seen, and I'm just so excited to read probably very flowery writing in a very whimsical middle grade story, and I have very high hopes for this series. I think in total I own 5 books by her, and I haven't read any of them, so it's definitely time I change that. The next author on here is a writer of a genre I don't reach for the most, and that's Fredrik Backman. He usually writes literary fiction. It is translated work from Sweden. People love his books so much. I've seen such fantastic things that I've been inspired to pick up his works when I've seen them used and at good prices. I think I own 3 books now by him. The book I am most excited to read from him is Beartown. This is, I think, his most popular work. It focuses on this small, like, hockey town. I think one of the players or the whole team, not sure, but someone gets accused of raping a girl, and it kind of shows, I think it kind of discusses and displays like rape culture, and it tries to dismantle that and how people will go so far to protect these boys that suck. I've just seen so many wonderful positive reviews over pretty tough subject matter, so I'm definitely excited to give it a try. Author number 2 on this list, I'm honestly surprised I haven't read any of her works yet. She just seems to write such interesting stories, and I haven't picked up anything, and I've owned books by her for a long time. I think I own in total 4 books by her. Maybe I should tell you who she is. The author I really can't wait to read from is Ryan Groudon. She just seems like a very unique writer, and one of those writers who like never writes the same stuff like more than once. She's got the Wolf by Wolf duology, which is like alternate historical fiction. She's got like The Walled City, which I also own. But the book I most want to read from her is Invictus. This is actually a time travel book, and I don't tend to love time travel stories, but I really would like to get to this one because there's an element of found family, and also I think of like heists slash like treasure seeking across like time and space, which sounds phenomenal. I also think that this book is a standalone, which is always a selling point for me, and I just have wanted to read it for so long. So the final author on this list, my number one author I would like to read in 2020, is an author I've been putting off for quite a few years now. I think I've owned her work since 2017. I own 3 books by her, and she just writes such weird stuff, and I've been very nervous to read it for a long time. And that's none other than A.S. King. A.S. King writes very weird, surrealist, fabulous fiction. Really wanted to do, like, actually dive into her work, but I've always held back. I own 3 books by her, and I know, like, not at all what any of them are about. But the book I'm most interested in reading is one of her newest releases, and that's Dig. I believe this takes on, I guess, a well-to-do family and, like, really dismantles that and, like, has them, I think, come to terms with their privilege. Or at least there are some really good discussion points in this story about privilege. I've seen some really, really glowing reviews, and I think that book is actually the one that sold me on actually picking up her work because I've just been so scared of it for so long. It doesn't help that, or it does help that the cover is stunning. I love this cover. It's time. I'm like mildly petrified, but I really would like to get to some of A.S. King's work. Also noticing that she has a trend in her covers. They put people on her covers a lot, which is never like great for marketing. But that is it for 5 authors I would like to read from in 2020. I almost said 2019 again. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any authors that you've been putting off, because trust me, I do it way too often. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!